Well, this video should be a snap. Say hello to the American alligator, which, by the way, happens to be the largest reptile in North America. The way to tell an alligator apart from a crocodile is by looking at the shape of its mouth. Alligators have a U-shaped snout as opposed to the V-shaped snout of a crocodile. But of course, crocodilians are amazing swimmers and mainly use their tails for propulsion. In the wild, alligators mainly eat fish, turtles, and small to big animals. And alligators are among the best mothers in the animal kingdom because when the eggs hatch, the mother carries the hatchlings all the way up to the water in her mouth and makes a makeshift hunting ground for them to use and hone their skills. The American alligator is a prime example of wildlife conservation success. They were almost wiped out because of habitat loss and hunting for their skins, but thanks to rigorous conservation efforts, such as the invention of alligator farms, the species has since recovered, and there are millions of them living in the wild, especially in Florida. Time to come out from your shell to meet the Midland painted turtle, native to the wetlands and forests of the eastern United States and eastern Canada. In the wild, they mainly eat fish and crayfish, as well as worms and insects and plants. They are often seen basking in the sun in groups or on logs or lounging by the banks of lakes and rivers on warm days. As the colder weather approaches, they look for safety in deeper waters where they burrow in the mud or debris. And of course, like all reptiles, these turtles just lay their eggs in the burrow that they dug and then leave. Contrary to popular belief, turtles actually can't extract themselves from their shells because a turtle's shell is actually an extension of its back vertebrae. And here we see the eastern hellbender, native to the wetlands of the Midwest United States. They're often called snot otters or devil dogs, and they're North America's largest amphibian, growing to more than 2.5 feet long and weighing over 2 pounds. Despite this appearance and large size, hellbenders are completely harmless to humans. In the wild, they eat crayfish, insects, and fish, and they're very fond of worms. In fact, their teeth are made like sandpaper to help slurp the worms right up. Here we see the axolotyl, a species of salamander found in central Mexico, specifically on the southern edge of Mexico City. In the wild, they mainly eat mollusks, invertebrates, and fish. Historically, their population has always been stable in their lake habitat. However, in recent years, these lakes have become heavily polluted by industrial runoff and wastewater from Mexico City. As a result, the axolotyl is now a critically endangered species. Trust in me. This is the scrub python, native to the deserts of New Guinea and Australia. The scrub python is the longest snake in Australia, usually measuring up to 23 feet. They are known to be very grumpy as they do not like to be disturbed. They usually eat small mammals and birds, and like all constrictors, they subdue their prey by wrapping their coils around their prey and squeezing the life out of them. And here we see yet another Australian python, the carpet python, which is native to the northern, eastern, and southwestern parts of Australia, except for the arid center and western regions. The carpet python gets its name from the pattern on its skin, made up of yellow, white, and brown dots and stripes. They mainly eat birds, small mammals, and lizards, and again, like all constrictors, they subdue their prey by wrapping their coils around it and literally squeezing the life out of it. Presenting His Majesty the King Cobra, the world's largest venomous snake, native to the jungles of Southeast Asia. In the wild, they mainly eat other snakes. In fact, the first part of the king cobra's Latin name, Opiophagus, means snake eater. And when they rear themselves up, it's tall enough to look a man in the eye. As is the case with all cobras, when threatened, a king cobra will spread out its neck to form its trademark hood. And cobra venom is mainly neurotoxic, causing paralysis. Though thankfully, sometimes when cobras bite, they either inject very little venom or no venom at all. Trust in me. Another python. In this case, the ball python of the jungles of Western and Central Africa. The ball python is named for its defensive mechanism, which is coiling itself up into a shape like a ball. In the wild, it eats small mammals and small birds and insects. And they are very popular as pets among snake enthusiasts.
Look at this one. Look at this one.
Here we see the Mexican beaded lizard, native to the deserts of Mexico. The Mexican beaded lizard is one of two species of venomous lizards in the world, the other being its relative, the Gila monster. Their venom is produced in glands in the lower jaw. In the wild, they eat lizards and frogs, as well as insects, birds, small mammals, and eggs. Just like with snakes and many other lizards, the Mexican beaded lizard can flick its tongue in and out so as to use that as their sense of smell. Time to spread out your hood because this is the Cape Cobra, native to southern Africa. These snakes can grow to be up to 5 feet long. They're usually shy and they're the largest snakes in southern Africa. In fact, they are related to king cobras. Their favorite foods are small mammals and lizards. And as is the case with all cobras, the Cape Cobra can spread its neck out into a hood as a warning to would-be predators. Yep, this is the Merten's water monitor lizard, or if you want to go by what Australians call it, this would be the Merten's water goanna, because it is found in North and Northwestern Australia. As the name suggests, they are never found far from the water's edge. Their nose is very well adapted for swimming and diving with special nostril valves that close tightly when they are underwater. In the wild, they mainly eat fish and crabs, frogs, insects, and small mammals. And of course, all monitor lizards and goannas flick their tongues in and out to smell, just like with a snake. Make no mistake, this isn't just a little piece of a leaf hidden under a rock. This is the Matamata Turtle, native to the jungles of South America. In the wild, it mainly hunts small fish, and it does so by sucking the fish inside its mouth, very much like a vacuum cleaner. Unlike what you see in cartoons, turtles actually cannot detach themselves from their shells. It's all fused together in the bone. Hey, no need to get snappy with me. Actually, yes, there is. Because this is the alligator snapping turtle, native to the swamps of the southern United States. In the wild, they mainly eat fish, crawdads, and other aquatic creatures. They simply sit at the bottom of the water, and open their mouths and wiggle their short tongues to resemble a worm, and then they eat anything that is attracted. In fact, alligator snappers can keep their mouths open for hours at a time while waiting for food. Unlike many turtles, they can't pull their heads inside of their shells. And it's said that an alligator snapping turtle can take your hand off, or even just your finger off, with just one bite. Once again, come out from your shell, because we gotta meet the eastern box turtle, native once again to the eastern United States. In the wild, they mainly eat plants, flowers, and fungi, as well as worms, snails, insects, and small amphibians, birds, and mammals. Sadly, though, they are often hit by cars or taken home by people who want them as pets, although that is actually illegal. How can you help the box turtle? You can do it by carefully moving them across the road in the direction that they are going to, so that they can safely continue their journey. And if you see them in their native habitat, leave them alone. Contrary to popular belief, they don't actively seek out the roadways to absorb the heat. They're just trying to get from point A to point B. Well, time to chuck something to say hello to the Chuckwalla. They live in the deserts of the Americas. Among the 5 different species of Chuckwalla, the San Esteban Island Chuckwalla is not only the largest, but will live to be 25 years or more. In the wild, they mainly eat bushes and cacti. And Chuckwallas have a very interesting way of protecting themselves from predators. They'll simply duck between a rock and then inflate themselves and stick firmly. And here we see a big group of rattlesnakes. In this case, it's the eastern Diamondback rattlesnake and the Canebrake rattlesnake. Rattlesnakes belong to the family of snakes known as pit vipers because they have sensory pits in their nose that helps them to detect their prey's body heat. Rattlesnake venom is mainly hemotoxic, but they have folding fangs, which means that the fangs are folded back, but when the snake has to bite, it swings its fangs forward.
Like a Swiss Army knife.
Absolutely. And, of course, as everyone knows, rattlesnakes have those rattles on their tails which they shake as a warning to would-be predators. Every time the snake sheds its skin, a new scute is added to the rattle. But contrary to popular belief, the number of rattles on a rattlesnake's tail does not determine the age of the snake.
I'll tell you the people though who are most likely to get bitten by these snakes though. They're the typical people who are bitten by rattlesnakes are unmarried males between the ages of 20 and 30 who are drunk and try to handle the snake.
And a little safety tip when it comes to venomous snakes: never try to treat a snake bite yourself. And another one, if you hear a rattling sound, don't move. Just Then the snake can't see you very well if you don't move.
Hmm.